Hello. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. I'm Dr. Valerie Renee Shepard. I'm coming to you live this morning from the Hartley Center for Mindfulness and Self-Mastery, where we teach you how to master yourself in your life so that you can exquisitely manage whatever your life brings your way. And let's face it, our lives bring us a whole bunch of different things to experience, and they're all for our greatest good. And we get that greatest good when we know how to leverage those situations, those people, those things to create more of what we want and less of what we don't. So happy Hump Day. I'm so glad that you're here. Just a couple little housekeeping things. If you're joining me live, I would love for you to type in the comment section what 2 or 3 words describe how you're feeling today or what your outlook is today, what you're looking for today. Just a couple words. So my word is expectant. I am expectant. I just believe positive things are happening and I am ready to receive. The posture of receiving is really important. It's important as you think about, wow, this is what I'm trying to call in. This is what I'd like to have happen. This is what I'd like to do. So I love being in the expectant mode. It's like, okay, I can feel the energy. And when you get really good at receiving, you will start to be able to kind of tune in around you and notice all the things that are coming, all the things to be grateful for, and all the things to continue to expect in your world as your world shows up and plays out for you. So I would type in expectant for me. What is it for you? It doesn't have to be positive. It's just a check-in on how are things going in your world, where you are today. Yay. Getting this day off to a fabulous start means kind of knowing what's going on in here, in this instrument that you are. The other thing I want to remind you is if you listen to the replay, please put hashtag replay, type in the same comment. If you have questions, whenever you have questions, I love fielding questions. So please feel free to ask me questions. I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. If you're typing something that's of a sensitive nature and you kind of don't want to blast it out to the world via a comment on this Facebook page, that's no problem. Just private message me and I will change the name and change the situation so people won't know it's you. And I'll share that. In fact, I'm doing that all the time in these Hump Day Happy Chats. You don't know necessarily who I'm talking about. And sometimes there are stories that come from my life, and other times they're from people who just share with me dynamics of what's going on, and I use them to try and help others. You would not believe how much is universal experience. And I encourage and invite you, if you're one who often thinks that whatever you're going through, you're the only one going through it, I encourage and invite you to release that. Release yourself from that isolation. There are very few things that no one else in the world has ever experienced. And that doesn't mean it should make you feel better. That just means you don't have to go it alone. You don't have to only rely on what is happening to you in this very moment to navigate your way through it, to discern what's calling to you from your life. So let us know. I'm happy to help you. If you put the practices, or I'll say when you put the practices that I share with you into your life, the teachings and the topics and the guidance to work in your life, to practice in your life, I'd love to hear the feedback. And everybody else would benefit too. They'd love to know what served you, how it worked, how it unfolded. Everything doesn't unfold the exact same way, even though we may be applying the tools. And so it helps to see the spectrum, the full spectrum of experience of creating the magnificent life that you desire and deserve. And this is one of my most important purposes and joys in the world, is seeing that moment when light bulbs go off, when hearts open, when walls drop, when connection is created. I have a little quote up here by a woman named Joan Borsenko, who wrote a book called A Woman's Journey to God. And the quote says, God is never closer than when the space between hearts narrows, two hearts narrows. And today we're going to talk about a space between hearts, and we're going to talk about it in terms of you. And whenever this unfolds, whenever you can see, oh my gosh, that story relates to me, letting us know it would really be positive and powerful, and it helps other people as well. You can be a ripple effect, a part of a ripple effect, creating more love, more peace, more joy, more freedom, emotional freedom on the planet. And there's a lot going on in the world today, and not all of it, maybe even in some places, not much of it, has to do with love and peace and joy and freedom. And so the more we individually can be that in our worlds, regardless of what else is going on, we can help build the bridges from heart to heart that create more of that in the world today. So thank you very much for joining me. Ask questions, interact. I'm so grateful to be in service to you. So today's title, do you know the state of your union? So this came to me last night as I was watching here in the United States. This was the State of the Union address. And I got curious about states of the union, how those different addresses, State of the Union addresses. And I did a little, research, because, that's what I'm going to do. Look up words, look up stuff. So the State of the Union, it's an annual message for those of you outside the U.S., maybe for those of you inside the U.S. as well. An annual message delivered by the President of the United States to a joint session of Congress. So it's delivered to Congress. It's delivered to Congress. It's usually at the beginning of a calendar year. And the whole idea is that it's reporting on the current condition of the nation. It's originally mandated by the Constitution. That I did not know. It's mandated by the Constitution, Article 2, Section 3, Clause 1, and it states, the President, quote, shall from time to time give to the Congress information of the state of the Union and recommend to their consideration such measures as he, and of course this was written in the Constitution, so it recognizes only the masculine, such measures as he shall judge necessary and expedient. The first message was delivered in 1790 by none other than George Washington, of course, the first president of the United States. And his is still credited by word count with being the shortest in the history of these messages, including our President Joseph R. Biden, who gave his address last evening. There have been a total of 98 in-person annual messages or State of the Union addresses. They weren't always called that. Woodrow Wilson gave a really memorable in-person one, the first in-person annual message since the 18th century. Isn't that interesting? And in 1945, there was a memorable event where FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt's message was actually read. He didn't give it in person, so it's not considered an in-person address. And so why are we talking about this? Who cares? Well, it brought up this idea of the state of what union? The state of what union? So when we evaluate the State of the Union, what union are you looking at? When we get behind these geopolitical ideas and demarcations, what unions do you need to evaluate? What unions do you need to evaluate? We are pretty just out of the month of love. And that month usually triggers people to evaluate their romantic unions. And there are way more important unions than that each of us is engaged with, that we need to evaluate, that we need to monitor, that we need to manage. Good morning. Thank you for joining me. I see you out there. I'm so happy to have you here. Please type in your hello and where you're tuning in from and the one word of how you're feeling this morning. Thank you so much. I said my word was expectant if you missed it. Thank you for being here. So what union are you looking at? So if you know anything about me, if you've read my books, if you've listened to what I teach, there's one relationship that is the centerpiece, should be your focus and is what your entire experience of the world is going to be based on. It is your relationship with yourself. That is the most important relationship that you have. This quote by Robert Holden: "The relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship you have." So why is that? Why is that? It's because of universal spiritual law. So you know universal physical law, probably. The most famous that we talk about all the time is the law of gravity. And you know that the law of gravity doesn't really care whether you know about it or not, understand it or not, like it or not, believe in it or not. The law of gravity does what the law of gravity does 24/7, 365. It just does what it does, what it does, what it does, that it does. End of story. You are bound by the law of gravity in your everyday everything. And so there are other laws, universal spiritual laws. You hear about them in the Hump Day Happy Chat. You'll see about them in my blog. You'll definitely see about them in my book, my class, my challenge. We just did a 7-day challenge. Universal laws were the first day. So there are spiritual laws that govern the way the universe operates. And if it governs the way the universe operates, that means it governs the way you operate and everything in the universe and how that operates. And so this question of your relationship with yourself through law of reflection, law of attraction, law of reciprocity, law of karma, all of these laws are operating and being activated by who you are being to, for, by, about, and with you. It's your relationship with yourself. As Confucius would say, wherever you go, there you are. Wherever you go, there you are. Things in your outer environment might change. When you get there, it's not exactly what you thought, or it's way better, it's way worse, or it's different than the place you were before. But there's one thing that is always wherever you go, and that's you. Dear one, that is you. So this is crucial. This one relationship is crucial to your well-being. It's crucial to creating healthy relationships with others. It's crucial to creating healthy relationships with the situational dynamics of your life. Yes, you do need to have a relationship with the situational dynamics, the circumstances of your life. So here's the question. How's that relationship? What is the state of your union with yourself? What is the state of that relationship? Are you nurturing and kind, supportive and fun, helpful and mentoring? I wasn't. For the longest time, I was not that. Or were you what I was? Judge, jury, sentencer, jailer, and executioner. Constantly taking myself to task for every fault, every frailty, every time I would freeze when I felt like I needed to be doing something, Every dropped ball, every missed opportunity, everything that I felt I could have done better. Boy, oh boy, did I let myself know. I was the one wagging the finger right at my nose saying, you should have done better. Why did you do it that way? That was me. I'm so grateful to be able to say all of that in the past tense. All of that in the past tense has taken a beautiful investment in noticing myself being what was not serving me, which is all that this whole journey is about. Being able to see ourselves in the not service to ourselves, kind of evaluate, well, I wonder why I do that. How is that helping? What is that creating in this moment? How does that serve me going forward? And then to make a conscious, creative choice based in curiosity and love to do it differently, to be me differently in my own life. Not because other people were calling me to it, and oh yeah, they were. I wasn't listening. I wasn't aware. But yeah, not because they wanted. It's not about pleasing others, making them like me, feeling lovable. Wasn't about that. It was so that this being in this physical body with these mental faculties and this magnificent heart capacity could bring the best of herself into every situation and multiply that. That's the ripple effect. It multiplies outward and it multiplies inward. So the more goodness and juicy love and light and joy and harmony and peace that I create within myself, the more I get through those same laws. Law of attraction, law of reflection, law of karma, law of reciprocity, those same laws. And the more that I have to offer, when my cup runneth over, I am giving naturally, organically, automatically, hallelujah, into the world. Into the world. And the world needs every bit. The world needs loving containers walking around, creating loving spaces, enveloping situational dynamics and the people in them with more unconditional love. I'm not talking about romantic Valentine's Day love. I'm talking about unconditional love. Meaning, my love is big enough to hold you in your hate of me. I've been wrestling with that one, and I'm getting better. I'm grateful to say. My love is big enough to hold the things I see in my world that I can't change, and that I don't want, and that I don't like. My love is big enough to hold my fear and your fear. My love is big enough to hold my disabilities, my illnesses, the not self when she shows up, the warring self when I really want to be the loving self. I can hold the container and make space for my warring self to quiet and to remember who she really is and what she's really here for. So how do you get to be more loving and kind and nurturing with yourself? How do you turn off or turn down the aspects of you that want to take yourself to task, that are constantly shoulda, coulda, wouldaing all over you? That every single thing that you do that isn't okay somehow, for some reason, that you want to beat yourself up over, how do you let go of that? The one thing I want you to keep reminding yourself is that this is learned behavior. Why do you want to let it go? Because it's not really you anyway. It's not benefiting you. So some people tell me all the time when they talk about procrastination, they talk about, well, yeah, but if I wait till the last minute and I know the pressure's on, I do my best work. And I say, how would you know? Unless you're doing periodic comparisons of something that you started really early and worked on it over time till the deadline and plussed it up and plussed it up and plussed it up and made it better versus the thing you did in the last half hour, the last hour, the last day. How are you really knowing that what you're doing isn't sabotage, or what you're not doing isn't serving you? So this observance of this relationship that you have with yourself is critical. It's critical that you recognize that when you observe it, you might realize something very important. This is learned behavior. I got this from so-and-so. I picked this up at whatever placity place. Never said that before. Placity place. It's learned. Two great things about that. If it's learned, it's not innate. You didn't come here with it, and you didn't come here to be that. And the second thing, if it's learned, it can be unlearned. You can create a new groove in you, in the way you talk to yourself, in the way you hold yourself, in the way you see yourself, in the way you share yourself. You can create a new way of being that serves you at highest levels. At highest levels. Everyone take a deep breath. People outside you will absolutely mirror back to you, will reflect to you, will show you how you treat you with the way they treat you. We're teaching them every minute. Consciously, subconsciously, and unconsciously. Your higher self is calling you into this understanding, not to be a trick. It's not to beat you down. It's not to make you feel like crap. It's to help you see it so that you can go, that's not what I want. Oh, that doesn't feel good. I'm not doing that anymore. So that you can choose the higher vibration. Why do you want to choose the higher vibration over and over and over and over? Because that's also going to be reflected back to you. So why not set up a situation where you are so self-loving and understanding of your mistakes, and you're nurturing through difficulty so that that can be mirrored back to you from your outside world. And you will start to notice, I will guarantee you this. You will start to notice the more kind you are to yourself, how kindness shows up in all of your interactions. The more loving you are to yourself, how loving, nurturing, feeling energy shows up in everything outside of you. The more you laugh at yourself being yourself, the more people will laugh with you, the more you'll be able to laugh at whatever environment you find yourself in. This is so, so crucial to getting into a high vibration and hanging out there. Why do you want to hang out there? Not to be Pollyanna. This isn't about laughing your way through life as though nothing is important, as though nothing is serious, as though nothing is crucial. That is not what I'm saying. If that's what you heard, play this replay back and let it go in deeper. What I'm activating here is that you have an opportunity to shift the way you treat yourself and see exactly how that shows up around you. Exactly how that shows up around you. To activate the very universal laws that are operating 24/7, 365. So here are a couple of things. One way that you can check in, and I love, this is a little exercise that I found on a mental health website. And it suggests this exercise. Imagine that you are in a relationship with a young child. Maybe you're there and you're observing them and you're in this relationship with them. And you are very conscious of the fact, allow yourself to feel, you do not love them. You look at them and you see all of their flaws, all of their inabilities. You can feel your lip going up. I can feel when I say this, I can feel the contraction inside my body. I can feel the sort of low vibration energy coming out on my face. You experience this child, a child, remember, this is a child. You experience this tiny being as worthless, unworthy, not good enough. Now imagine you've got to be in this relationship for the rest of your life. This is the primary relationship you have for the rest of your life, is with this worthless child. How would that relationship go? What kinds of feelings are triggered inside you? What thoughts come up when you think about being in that relationship for the rest of your life? What kinds of behaviors would that relationship elicit from you on a day-to-day basis? When I talked at the beginning of this Hump Day Happy Chat about the judge, jury, executioner, jailer, that's the kind of relationship that you could be in, that I was in for a large portion of my life. Always. Now, I was doing it from a place that I thought was helpful, trying to call myself into better performance, trying to call myself into a place where I would be more lovable, trying to call myself, push myself, drive myself, kick myself, deliver myself to a place where I would feel like I was worthy of goodness showing up in my life. But that's not the way it works. Because in so doing, I was actually anchoring in the negative vibration that I was feeling about myself. That's what this question is. That little exercise is you imagine yourself in that. If you imagine yourself in that, how does that feel? Another exercise you can do is to look at what you say. So this is a little task that I give people. Imagine that you've made a mistake. It's a costly mistake. So let's say you're baking a cake or you're making a recipe and you have the last bit of the most important element. In a cake, it might be the eggs. In a dinner, it might be some other element, some ingredient that is the most important. And without this ingredient, that cake tastes like crap. That food doesn't come together and you can't enjoy it or you can't feed your family, whatever that is, crucial ingredient. And you drop the egg and it's not usable. You do something to the other ingredient, you can't use it, and there is no more. And you can't go out and get some, and you can't go to a neighbor and borrow some. And if you did, that would make you feel bad anyway. The whole way to the store, the whole way to the neighbors, you'd be kicking yourself in the butt. And when the neighbor opened the door, you'd probably say something negative about yourself, like, stupid me, I'm trying to make a cake, and like a clumsy ox, I dropped the final egg. You would, wouldn't you? If you are with me on this, type into the chat, #replay, yeah. I got you, Valerie. Yeah, I'm with you. So you've got this crucial moment and this crucial ingredient and it's gone. And you did it. You did it. What are the first 3 things you hear yourself saying to yourself about that moment? What are the first 3 things? Without thinking, without censoring, allow yourself to feel whatever that is. There's nothing bad here. There's nothing wrong here. This is an act of self-love to investigate your own self-awareness, your own self-acceptance, your own self-love. Those are the 3 pillars of self-mastery. You cannot get there without the 3 of them. So evaluate. What is the state of your union with yourself? So first do the evaluative exercises. Another exercise that you can do is for one day, one whole day, call it 8 hours, 5 hours, you choose. Just observe like a fly on the wall, listening carefully to the things that you say to yourself, the feelings you have about yourself. From the minute you wake up and you look at the clock and you're like, oh, what an idiot, I forgot to set my alarm. Boom, that's one negative thought. When you go into the mirror, oh my gosh, there's dark circles under my eyes. I look like crap. Well, boom, there's another one. Oh my gosh, I don't like the way there's another one. You go in the closet, whoa, nothing fits. I cannot believe how much weight I've gained in the last 6 months. There's another one. Monitor all day long how you think and feel and speak to you, how you speak to others about you. Someone pays you a compliment. I love the way your hair looks today. Oh my God. My hair usually looks like crap. I'm really surprised that it looks good today. It's just never does what I want it to do. You get me? Monitor. How many good thoughts? How many negative thoughts? Then the next step, take a couple of breaths, breaths. Take a couple of breaths as you're noticing, oh my, I had 8,000 thoughts today and 7,800 were negative. The bulk of the way I talked to myself and about myself were negative. And then go, hallelujah. Why? Because you cannot transform what you're not even aware of. The longer this state of your union with yourself stays below your surface and below your conscious awareness, the longer you will do detrimental things in your life. You will make decisions that don't serve you. You'll create relationships that don't serve you. You will go in directions that don't serve you. All of these things come from your relationship with yourself. It's foundational to creating the blissful experience of life that you seek, to creating the magnificent relationships that you deserve and that you desire. So you go first in observation and evaluation mode. State of my union. What's going on in here? What's going on in here? What's going on in here? And about me, from me, to me, for me, about me. What is going on in here? Capture somehow in a journal, tick marks, positive, negative, put it on the refrigerator, put it on a cabinet. Keep evaluating what you're noticing. Have a starting point position, then start doing some of the things I'm going to tell you now, and then evaluate again. A week, 2 weeks, a month. So you're looking at the occasions as well. When there's something good that I did, do I still find something wrong with it? I did this very, very well. I was very accomplished. Always looking what more is possible, but that wasn't the energy of it. It was always looking at how far I had fallen short of a benchmark. What does that breed inside me? Shame. I didn't live up to my own expectations. How far did I fall from an externally created benchmark? So somebody telling me what they need, someone telling me what it would take to get accepted, or to, one very poignant one for me was taking a penalty kick in a soccer match. This is ages ago, y'all. And I missed. I felt the pressure of the moment. I missed. It was a turning point in the game. And my coach even talked to me about it after the game. That was a turning point. Did you see all the negative things that happened as a result? Like I don't know what the point of that was, but he was reflecting exactly what I was thinking. Well, you screwed that up, Shepherd. So look at both positive situations. If I had made that penalty kick, I guarantee you the consciousness that I was then would have looked at everything about that moment and found the things that I should have done differently. Found the things that I didn't do fully enough. So you want to look at these positive and negative situations. What's your internal voice? What's your feeling? The next thing you want to do, if you can, is trace where that came from. Remember, I said it was learned. So a lot of what I was learned in the environment of a soul being incarnated into a black body and the loving, nurturing souls around me wanting to bring out the best in me, because the world in which I lived and still live in Rome has a very large doctrine of white supremacy or anti-blackness kind of baked into the fabric, into the element, and especially as a daughter of the 60s. So that's a conditioned pattern. What are your conditioned patterns? Do they have to do with race? Do they have to do with gender? Do they have to do with where you were born in the world? Do they have to do with culture? Do they have to do with a physical ability or mental ability or disability thereof? You are going to look for, I wonder if I created this because I was having trouble with reading. And my teachers used to say this to me, and that created this pocket of pain in me. And so now I take myself to task whenever I misspell a word. I'm just making it up to giving you some examples for how you would go through this triage of your relationship with yourself. What's my state of my union with myself, so that you can see what's going on. What's going on? Whose voice are you hearing? Whose scowl are you imagining? And then this is critically important. The next step is forgiveness practice. So you can go in my book under the step 2, the shake-up step. There are my favorite forgiveness practices. An easy one to learn is Ho'oponopono prayer. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And you do rounds of Ho'opono on yourself, on the situation, on the other people involved. And then next you create a replacement, a flip switch. Oh, I hear a negative voice, flip the switch. It can be that fast. You don't have to, in the moment, diagnose it. You can just say, whoop, that's not allowed here anymore. And find something positive. Change the vibration. Go to gratitude. When the going gets tough, get going into gratitude. The minute you're noticing yourself saying negative things, find something to be grateful for about yourself in that moment. Ugh. I'm so grateful that I've come so far. I can now consciously hear myself in the moment, taking myself to task. I'm so grateful that I've committed to myself, that I'm retraining my inner voice to be more nurturing, more loving, more compassionate, more kind, more tolerant, more positive. I'm so grateful that in every one of these experiences, as I flip the switch, taking myself to a higher vibration, I'm ensuring absolutely through universal law that positive is coming. Positive is going to be reflected based on what I'm treating, how I'm treating myself. And then it's just a matter of rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. How can you up the state of your union with yourself? By being in a positive union with yourself. There are all kinds of other self-love practices. You can hear them in my Hump Day Happy Chat. You can join us in my Bliss Collective, which is a free private group on Facebook where we teach and practice these tools of living at a high vibe level. It's facebook.com/The Bliss Collective. Facebook.com/The Bliss Collective. We just completed a 7-day Grow in Self-Mastery, Flow into Bliss challenge. You can watch my Facebook group or here on the Hump Day on the Facebook in Positively Happy to Be Me, and we will be announcing the next iteration of that challenge later this month. And you can check in and learn some tips and tricks and tools to help you take yourself to a higher vibration of love, peace, joy, and freedom. Remember, the way you treat yourself is going to be reflected back to you in things that happen in all aspects of your day-to-day life. It is the most important relationship that you keep, is the one you keep with yourself. So make sure on a regular basis, an ongoing basis, that you are evaluating the state of your union with yourself. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for listening to the replay. Thank you for sharing, helping me create a ripple effect of love, peace, joy, and freedom wherever you operate. I always close the Hump Day Happy Chat with the Karanaya Metta Sutra, which is the prayer of loving kindness from the Buddha. I'm hoping that you're getting to the place where you can say it with me, or say it during your day when I'm not even there. You're bringing more love, peace, and joy into the planet just by saying these few words. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. Your true nature is peace, love, joy, and freedom. Anything else, anything other than that you're breathing into yourself or into the world is a misunderstanding. It's based on a misunderstanding. You didn't come here with it. That's not the true nature of who you are. You need to get back to your magnificent essence in order to experience your most magnificent life. And yes, I did say need. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. And may all beings be free. That's emotionally free to live out the truth of you in the present moment. Hallelujah. Amen. Thank you so much for joining me. Many blessings. See you next week. Same bat channel, Hump Day Happy Chat, live here on Positively Happy to Be Me. Bye now.